Yo, GM, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Rapture. We'll be live in just a moment. How's everybody doing? Hey. Nope. Turn the music down. Yo, what's good, everybody? On this Thursday afternoon for little lunch levels. Market is really quiet. Hey, GM, JJ, GM, Munar. What's good, my dudes? Thank you for being here. Good to see you, lads. Just give me a moment and I will get underway shortly. Just making sure I do all my back-end stuff I gotta do before we go live. How's the mic level, everybody? Mic level is okay? Weird. The post on Twitter did not show up properly. Looks like there was a glitch. Let me just fix that real quick. What is going on? Is Twitter having issues today? What happened there? We got the BTC daily chart up. I'll get this underway in just a moment. I'm just seeing what is going on. Looks like something is up with the Twitter broadcast. Huh, well, that is weird, but hopefully it'll sort itself out. Don't want to waste time here. Let's see. Yeah, the main broadcast is not showing up in my feed. But I can see the link, so I don't know what is up with that. So it's probably going to be a reduced turnout today because for some reason the Twitter algo did not post the live to my feed. Well, regardless, everyone that's joining me here live will have a nice little intimate session. Intimate. How is everybody doing? Man, that is bugging me out. What is going on with the Twitter algo? Yeah, it just did not post, even though I can see it. Regardless, okay. Enough of that nonsense. It's just going to be is what it is. We got the BTC daily chart up here. Let me get rid of this banner because we are live now. Well, I want to welcome you to Rapture, Scalp, and Swing Sessions number 13, live perps trading and analysis. We're doing some lunch levels today. We're going to focus today on high time frame levels, map out our updated high time frame levels on BTC ETH and Sol. We'll also take a look at hype, discuss a little strategy, maybe a chart request or two if any of those come in. We'll also talk about brain fog, how the brain fog is real and how to handle that when you take it from the perspective of trading. And I also want to give a shout out to the good folks over at BingX for helping to sponsor these shows. If you're looking for an exchange, head on over to bingx.com and use code Rapture for sign up bonuses. Orangutan says, GM, what is good, my dude? GM. Yeah, it seems like mostly people here today, I guess, are joining from YouTube. I don't know what is going on with the Twitter algo. This is the problem when you are reliant on platforms. Sometimes things fuck up, right? Like, trying to be consistent for you guys, trying to show up and put out the work to help you guys with your trading journey. Focused on the process that I use and the strategy that I use, but I am at the mercy of platforms like Twitter and YouTube. And I'll be honest, growth has been slow lately. I'm trying to reach more people so we can help bring more people into consistent profitability. I know a lot of that has to do with current market conditions, and a lot of people have definitely checked out. It hasn't been that up-only environment where it's super easy to be a bull in the bull market. We've been in an environment that's honestly a trader's environment, which is great. I love these type of environments, these range-bound environments where we're just taking out swing levels, trading them level to level. Markets are tough now, says Orangutan. Yes and no. I think if you're just used to riding a trend continuously and opening a position and letting it ride, then you're in for a rude awakening right now. But if you approach it the way that we do, from marking out our high time frame levels and then zooming in on low time frames to execute the interactions at those levels, it's been kind of easy mode. We've been laying up setups, laying up trades, outlining the strategy and the process during these live streams, as well as in the Telegram channel, Rapture's trade book. By the way, if you are not in the Telegram channel, don't forget to go and join, because I share charts way more frequently than I do on Twitter, and a lot more in between these live sessions. I can only be live so frequently before I just get exhausted. It is mentally exhausting, right? Like, talking to myself for an hour or two several times a week. More exhausting than it is just talking to myself in my head, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, you can find the link for my Telegram channel in the description for this video if you're watching on YouTube, or from my bio on Twitter, Rapture's Trade Book. It's a free channel. Come on and join and get more frequent updates and outlines of trades. Yeah, what was I saying? The brain fog is real. I don't know if it's, my daughter's been sick for a couple of days, and I don't feel sick at all, but I'm wondering if maybe that's how it's materializing. It's just my brain is a little bit slow and foggy today. I don't know. But when you encounter situations like that, it's best to not try and force yourself into the market. You need to have sharp reaction times. You need to have your wits about you. And, those split-second delays can mean a lot in your execution. So I've told myself to just take it easy today. I wanted to stream earlier this morning. I was just really slow going and found it difficult to just focus on anything. So I apologize if I go off on any tangents during today's session. I'm going to blame the brain fog for that one if it happens, right? We'll just blame the brain fog. But that's just blaming myself, right? You take the blame onto yourself. So it is what it is on a day like today. Looks like there was a beautiful short that set up off of one of our high time frame levels this morning. I just was not dialed in, not locked in. It is what it is. But again, welcome to lunch levels. Let's pull up our BTC chart again. Let's see what we got going on. Okay. There we have it. The BTC daily chart. We can see how that monthly level, let's just zoom right out, right? Let's pop over to monthly. All right, we're trading below those monthly levels. I was really targeting, and I'm still targeting this level to get taken out down here on monthly. Nothing has changed on our monthly chart. We spoke about this on Monday for our weekly close show. Again, apologies for that being delayed a day, but there was zero chance I was going to try and compete with the Super Bowl. We spoke about it last Monday that I'm really looking for that level to get taken out. And I think it will over the coming weeks, days, who knows? It could even be a few months from now, right? Like, we're looking at a monthly chart. We really don't want to close below here because that would be a new environment for the Bitcoin chart in its entirety, in its entire history. The fact that we're trading below the swing low on monthly is actually a new change to the Bitcoin chart that we actually haven't even seen before, right? Like, yes, there was one here way back in 2020, but swing low, high. We're still within that range. Swing low, which we were within the high of this range. Yes, the close level was different, but the actual swing high, we were still within that range. Did not violate that low. Then eventually we got to close above over here. Swing low to swing high. Swing low to swing high. Swing low to swing high. Swing high. Now we violated that swing low. It's the first time, really, in at least from the BTC Nancy USDT Perps chart, that we've traded below that. So that's new. That's a new environment, new regime that we find ourselves in. I don't know what that means really, longer term. If this ends up as a big, juicy, glorious SFP on monthly, we still have just over 2 weeks to pull it off. That would look quite bullish. But as it stands right now, we're not looking that way. Pop down to weekly. We got our weekly range quarters mapped out. We can see that monthly level. And once we close below there on weekly, it's the exact level we rejected off of this week. This is why your high time frame levels are super important, and it's why I stress and focus on them. There's our weekly. So here we are on the daily chart. You can see how that level has been important. Something I do see that we can mark out now is we've got, oops, that's not what I wanted. I want this. I see that we have a daily internal range swing high right there. So we'll map that out. The daily SFP into that would be a very juicy short. Those are our daily levels. Let's go on to H12, see what we're working with. Well, you can see we had that H12 level that we marked out. Closed below, rejected off it again. We're coming down into an H12 level here. Okay, so we're putting in a potential H12 SFP here. So maybe we might want to be hunting along here. Let's take a look at how all these H4 and H12 levels have been important. I think we can get rid of this. This is where we rejected off this morning. I do actually think we can get rid of this one though. This level looks cooked. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Clean it up a little bit. There's our H4. So last session, we outlined the H4 bearish breaker here after that H12 SFP, right? Like this was an H12 SFP here. Boom, right there. So we outlined the H4 bearish breaker and look at the result. Let me switch up the music real quick. So we're not just sitting in redundancy listening to that same, ooh, and let me pop this up. That Bing X logo up there. So we're into an H12, H4 level here. Could be setting up an SFP. So we got on lower time frames. Well, the thing I don't like is the M15 breaker would be all the way up there, so that doesn't really help us. Let's go to M5. Okay, well, we do have a potential M5 breaker right here. Right? That's the SFP. And we traded below here. That's the H12 and potential H12 and potential H4 SFP. If you get a close above there, that would be your bullish breaker. Take a trade off a retest. But we're not really traded near that yet. You know, we could set up a market structure shift breaker, in which case we have closed above that. We have had an internal market structure shift, it's not a market structure break. So if you're really feeling trigger happy, this is your long setup here on BTC. You want to see this box hold, right? Get back down below here, the trade's invalidated. Let's zoom out for a second and see what took place when we got down into here. Into the level, we had some market sell bubbles, not the large ones that I like to see, but we did get some into the level. Pinned down by the M5 short length EMAs. We're finding bids in that market structure shift breaker. There's a case to be long here. But again, like I said, with my brain fog today, my execution, I'm not interested in firing something off right now. It's happening on M1 into that breaker. Okay, so that's interesting. Getting M1 SFP into the breaker. There's your layered approach, right? What's the layer? Well, it's the high time frame level, the H12, H4 level. The second layer being the M5 market structure shift style breaker as the setup. Third level is that M1 SFP into there. So that was a long trigger right there. Those are the type of layered setups that I really like. So if you're looking for a long right now, this is what, and we did get those on M1. We got the large market sell bubbles, right? Those late aggressive market sells into the level. That's what we're really looking for, right? I don't know if this is going to hold. The market's kind of meh right now. Like, kind of just feels like there's no one around, doesn't it? Like, Twitter is a ghost town, and engagement, it's like falling off a cliff, which is frustrating when you show up daily and try and give people to try and relay skills to people that they can use for their life when there's no one around to receive them. It's just kind of, it feels like yelling into the void at times. But you know what? That's part of the game. You got to be consistent. You got to show up. You got to put in the reps and prove to everyone that you're going to remain consistent. Not prove, that's the wrong word, but just like so that people can rely on your consistency, right? So I will be here throughout the bear market. There's the, what's that, you know, the people that leave in a bear market are the ones that regret it when the bull market turns around because they're late to the party and they didn't learn new skills and they didn't gain new knowledge and they didn't forge new relationships and build their network. Bear markets are great for that. This will be my if we go by the 4-year cycle thing, this will be my second actual bear market, but last bull market, it kind of felt like we had a couple mini bear markets in between, right? Like 2024, summer 2024, things went very quiet. Then also post the tariff bullshit in February of 25, right? Like the market went quiet again. Okay, well, this M1 situation is holding for now, right? Again, that was the M5 market structure shift style breaker off of the SFP, right? When it closed above the market structure shift level. There is a case for a long here, at least for an intraday one, maybe back up to the daily open. Like, I don't know how much gas or juice this thing has. Ultimately, let's come back over there to H12. Like, oops, what the fuck was that? I have no idea what that was. Ultimately, I'm looking for prices to trade back into this level here and take out this monthly level. Ultimately, we're looking for prices to come down into here and take out that monthly level. So even if this holds, I just think it's short term, and maybe it gives a push up back up into here for another, right? Because we're just building a range, similar to how over here from November to end of January, we're in this range, right? Well, maybe we're here-ish and we get another push up before coming back down. I don't know. I don't like to predict like that. I just like to have levels to go off of. Extend that a bit. Extend that a bit. Ooh, that would have been a clean short this morning. I'm a bit bummed that my mind game wasn't locked in. Fubius, my dude. What is good, bro? GM. Oob says, thanks for doing these. Such a hidden gem. Appreciate you, my man. You've been one of my vocal supporters, and I do appreciate that. And you're doing huge things. You have been doing huge things over with GTE. And also your shitpost game. Sent from my iPhone. That was a good bit that you had running for a while. Thank you for being here, my man. Appreciate it. How are you? Okay, well, that's BTC's levels. Yeah, there's a case for a trade here right now, right? There's our M5 market structure shift style breaker. You want this to hold. Lose that. Thesis is invalidated. I wouldn't be trying to hero trade these though, right? Like maybe it gives you a swing back up to here. Maybe a little bit higher. Maybe we get up to there. I don't know. I don't know. You know, you have some targets, but like that's a shitty target. All right, like say you take this now. Not a great target, risk reward wise. Where would you have to get to for 2? I mean, you could target there, and that's a 2-to-1. That's the setup I see right now. Again, I'm not taking any trades today right now with my brain fog going on. Because I'm probably going to relax after this session and just like do something else, go for a walk, clear my head, or maybe refine my head since it's foggy today. But that's your 2-to-1 right there. There's your setup. Again, it's a market structure shift style setup, right? The market structure break is actually all the way up here. So take that for what it is. Orangutan says, thought hype looks strong. I mean, we've been dialed in on hype. We nailed the bottom a few weeks back, live on one of our weekly close shows, and laid out each step along the way, and even nailed the pullback into the bullish weekly breaker this past week for the next long. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit, a follow through on that. We'll come back and check on this a little bit later. We'll make this interval only. Not only, yeah. Sorry, this interval and below. Make this for this interval and below. That way we can switch time frames and you'll still be able to see it. Like here it is on M1. Right at M1, you got that SFP inside that market structure shift breaker. You're really looking for this to start to carry off. Maybe it takes you even up to the daily open and into daily VWAP, which is up there, which would give you a little bit more extension on this, right? About a 2.5, but you're targeting somewhere in here. I would just personally just say, if you're just target the 2-to-1 for now. There's no sense of trying to be a hero in the way the market is right now. Already seeing some sell-off come in. Like I said, it's a market structure shift style breaker, not the market structure break that I would rather see. And it's only on M5, right? Like if we go to M15, that breaker's all the way up here, which is useless for us. Sometimes there's just no trade, but if you're looking for a long right now, this is the only setup I see, and it's not looking so hot already. Oh, possible M5 SFP within the breaker. So I would watch that for the M5 close. Maybe it gives you an M5 SFP within the breaker, and then you have a little bit of a stronger case. But these are the things you start layering to get a high probability trade. Let's move along. Let's take a look at ETH, shall we? Let's zoom out, see what we're working with. Yeah, I mean, looks very likely that monthly we're going to come take this out. Just doesn't make sense to me that it wouldn't. Maybe it takes a few months. I don't know. Here we are on weekly. That weekly swing low acting as the sell-off for this week. Right, it's very similar setup to the BTC one when we came up into that area there. Just taking a look to see if there's any other levels that I can mark out. We can probably take this and bring this down here. There's an internal range swing high on ETH. Let's pull these over. Right, there's your supply zones. I mean, a great short. Like, I don't love looking for shorts near range lows, but if you get a pop up into here and an SFP into this supply from here, that'd be a beautiful short entry. But I think ultimately we're still looking for down here for proper longs. Here's H12, so we've got something similar going on here, right? Let's pull this. Got an H12 SFP potentially in the work in play right here. I don't see any other relevant levels to mark out. Just bring it down to H4. Look at that. So last session, we marked out that H4 bearish breaker off of the SPs that were taken off up here. Well, that was clean. Is this, oops. Is this relevant? I can probably nix that. We've got a level here. Just drawing our levels out. This is not relevant. We can get rid of that. I think we can get rid of that. There we go. Clean it up a bit. think we get rid of that. That's obviously the more important level. That's H4 on ETH. Something I can't see. Okay, there's a level there that may become important. So did that get muddy over here? No, we're good. Okay, so there's your daily H12, H4 levels. I can probably just clean all this up. Like, what's the likelihood we're going to get up here anytime soon? All right, like, what's the likelihood of any of that taking place anytime soon? Not very high, I would say. Just going to leave out the stuff that is likely most relevant. I know it's going to take a lot for the market to move up like that, but we can get moves like that in bear markets. You get those squeezes, those counter trend rallies. Just remember that we are very firmly in a bear market, and we have been for months. Like, everyone's sort of late to that bandwagon now, saying, "Oh, we're in a bear market," but it's been like that for months, truthfully. And we outlined it months ago. So that's the level we're watching here on ETH. So here, let's clean up some of this. I really don't think we need to have this anymore, or this. We'll just clean those up, and we'll have our immediately relevant H4 levels here. Okay, well, that's ETH. So similar, let's take a look and see low time frames, if there's anything going on here that we can use. I mean, the M15 breaker is all the fucking way up here. Not very useful. Go to M5. Okay, similar to BTC, like the actual market structure break is up here on M5. Not very useful. If you want to tighten that up, here's your market structure shift level. Now, unlike BTC, which has flipped that level, ETH is being capped by that level. So if it flips that on M5, try and get a retest into here for a long. You might be saying to yourself, well, why don't I take the long now before that's confirmed? Well, just you want probability to stack a little bit on your side. And before you get that close above, like, this could just come up here and fail again, and then you're down here. Just wait for that close above and then look for the retest. You won't lose much percent-wise, but you're just buying with momentum. I mean, look at this. We've got this M5 SFP range going on here. Let's take a look at M1, see what, let's fix this. This is just bored to death price action, really, right here on M1. Let's take a look at H1. Ooh, that was clean. That was clean, right? This is why we mark out our high time frame levels. So you get those reactions and you just respond rather than asking yourself, why is price doing this here? Why did it reverse here? Well, we can see where we got that interaction. Okay, well, those are our levels on ETH. There's a lot of levels to play with. This is what I'm talking about, it being a trader's market, right? Like, everyone's, as Orangutan pointed out, markets are tough. They are if you're looking to ride a swing off into the sunset. But it really is a trader's market. Like, just take your levels, trade the levels, right? Like, you're not swinging for the fences. You're trying to get intraday base hits. And they are abundant, right? We can come back over to BTC. Levels traders are enjoying themselves. Okay, so that breaker on BTC is invalidated. I can tell now because we're below. Let's take a look over here. Actually, no, it's not quite invalidated, but it's getting close. It's getting close. I also just noticed that I can probably get rid of this now because this is no longer relevant. There we go, clean that up. It's getting real close to invalidating that breaker. And that's why I prefer the market structure breakers rather than the shifts. The shifts are good when you have momentum. But when it's just sort of slow chop, like this is slow chop and bleed down. I think it's going to invalidate this. It's very close. There we go. Well, at least my brain fog stopped me from entering any trades right now. Because that would have been an L. We'll get rid of this now because this is now invalidated. We'll come over here to M5. Now, why is this box invalidated? Well, because the trade setup just got invalidated. We just violated the low. What you'd be looking for is a new setup. If this can get back above here, our new breaker is much tighter. But it's not there right now. And this is looking droopy. You know, maybe we're going to get this level taken out much sooner than later, which would be great. I would be looking very keenly for reasons to long down here. Okay, let's take a look at Solana. And then we'll take a look at Hype, and then we'll probably wrap it up. I don't want to run this one too long today. For the midday lunch, the lunch levels. Let's take a look at Solana here. What do we got going on? I mean, it's just in the middle of nowhere, right? Okay, something I'm going to do is, do I adjust this level over here? I'm going to leave this for now, but this is looking, it's not looking great. And we pointed that out when we closed the month here below this range that it held since March of 2024, right? Not great. Let's go weekly. Again, we had that weekly SFP up here with that bearish H12 breaker that we got the short off of a few weeks back. Well, we were monitoring here for a weekly SFP, but it just doesn't look like that's materializing, does it? Let's take a look at daily. Right, we talked about how the daily breaker is ridiculously large and not very actionable. Nothing to update here on daily for Solana. H12 will just the same as the others. It's putting in a possible H12 SFP here. What I don't love is when it's one candle and then back into it. It just shows you how weak that move was, right? But I don't know if that's going to hold. Intraday at best, but as we were just looking at on BTC, that we're getting back down to below that breaker, or we did get below that breaker. Just going to see H4. I mean, you could just see the weakness in Solana, right? On BTC and ETH, they were able to underside sweep this level here. Solana couldn't even do that. I can get rid of this. I think we get rid of that. And I think what we say to ourselves is, get rid of that. We can get rid of this H4 bearish breaker that played out, that we outlined last session. I think we leave that level there. Solana is overall weak. Overall weak. There's another H4 level there. I mean, it's been so weak that maybe that will be all it can manage if it gets a move from here. Or maybe it can't even do that. I don't know. Ideally, though, we're getting some down into here for a proper long. Let's Let's go see what's happening here on M15. Oh, we're getting a possible H4 SFP on ETH. Okay, so the M15 breaker on Solana would be thus. But we're below the SFP level right now. So it needs to hold that on the H4. What time are we at now? It's 1 p.m. So you have 2 hours to close the H4 above that level. Give me a breaker. Give me a bullish breaker. Close. Well, M5 is here. We can tighten this up and say we're looking for the M5. So get a close above there. There's your M5 breaker. Getting alerts popping off for H4 SFPs. We just had one on ETH. Sol it did because it got just above the level, but then it got back below. So it's high. It's trying to hold this as an SFP. And that's why my screener suite with my indicators, with my alerts that I built is such an invaluable tool for the way that I trade. Right? It just told me H4. I don't have to be at my desk and say, oh shit, Sol's putting in an H4 SFP, or it's attempting to put in an H4 SFP. ETH is attempting to put in an H4 SFP. So let's go take a look at ETH again. See. Okay. It's doing a better job. What's BTC doing here now? BTC is below the level. BTC is showing weakness against ETH and Solana. That's interesting. If BTC decides to just drop here, it's gonna massacre the market, I'll be honest, because alts are trying to hold on more. We all know that BTC drives the ship, steers the ship. Maybe it's going to attempt this SFP though. We'll keep our ears out for those alerts. Right? ETH is attempting to hold. Solana is attempting to hold. If BTC can get back above, then those alts will have some room to breathe. If BTC starts to drop more here, I wouldn't want to be in alts. It's 2 hours to the close though. Like, it's a long way to go to get that as a confirmed SFP, especially when there's no low time frame breaker in sight. Okay, so those are our levels. Those are our high time frame levels for BTC. All right, there's our high time frame levels for BTC. All the levels of relevance. If you're sitting at your desk, just go copy the levels I have marked here. These are the ones of importance. There's BTC. There's ETH. Right, like we're into a level now, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to start looking for possible longs here. You know, we outlined a few. There's our levels for Solana. I don't know. Solana's just overall been weaker, right? Even when we got those bearish breakers, BTC at least put in a better high time frame SFP. This is looking rather slippery. ETH definitely the strongest of the three. You can see that here by just, you know, the difference. Okay, let's check out the breaker that we outlined on ETH again. I would still want that close above here. I would still want that close above there, at least to be buying with some level of momentum, right? Some level of trend. We're still pinned down below the M5 short length EMAs. Take a look over here. Starting to flatten out on M1. I can target up into some of those. But it's not a long that I'm interested in right now. Okay, Hopefully you guys copied out those levels and are updating your charts as I do. You know, find your high time frame levels, mark them out, and trade the interactions. It's not rocket science the way that I approach things. It's actually quite simple. You have to have the discipline and the patience to wait for those levels. BTC definitely trading below the level right now. Regardless of what ETH and Sol are doing here, possible SFP, you want to take the lead from BTC. If this starts to fall, those are not going to hold on. Ideally, this does hold, you know. I just don't see a trade here right now. What I would want to see, so here is our potential M15 breaker on BTC, but it needs to hold that level. It needs to close above here for it to confirm. Right now, this is just a random box. Right now, it's just a random box. I need that market structure break. Excuse me. Okay, we're going to take a look at hype. All right. Come back over here. We looked at the BTC, ETH, and Sol. We mapped out all of our relevant high time frame levels that we're interested in right now. We're into levels right now. So keep your eyes peeled for those second and third order level signals. Excuse me. But yeah, guys, the brain fog is real. The brain fog is real. Okay. We're monitoring this on BTC. We have our potential setups laid out for BTC, ETH, and Sol. That's a gnarly leg of price action. Okay, we're back. We're attempting to reclaim the SFP level. Attempting. But again, I don't see a trade here yet. That should be H12. Okay, let's take a look at hype, and then we're going to wrap it up. Does anyone have any chart requests? Does anyone have any chart requests for me today? If not, we'll take a look at hype, and then we're going to wrap it up. And man, this Twitter algo today is bumming me out. Why the fuck did it not pick up the stream on my feed? Something I'll have to figure out. Something I will have to figure out. Okay, well, here is my high time frame swing layout. We got our weekly H12, H4, H1. Get rid of the indicators. I like this clean. So weekly, right? It's come right down into the high time frame weekly bullish breaker that I outlined. Two weeks ago. Told you guys to have patience. It'll come down here eventually. Well, there it is. Here's our H12. Called the long here yesterday. Well, this is looking pretty nasty with a bullish engulfing on H12. Let's see what H4 is doing. Okay, so here's a bullish H4 breaker. It looks like we're coming into it now. Look at that. Precise. So this is a bullish H4 breaker off of that H12 SFP. For this long to hold, this long thesis, the current one, the current long thesis being this H12 SFP here, you need this H4 breaker to hold. Why is that? Well, there's your H12 SFP. Is it a daily? There's your daily SFP even. It's a daily into the weekly breaker. I mean, that's ugly. And look at that, right off of our weekly range quarter. Look at our levels. Look at our levels, lads. Just if you could take one thing away and following along my strategy or my process, is just mark at your fucking high time frame levels. I will just bang that drum to death. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. So H12 SFP into our weekly bullish breaker. Right? That weekly bullish breaker is this box here, this big box here. There's your H12 SFP into the bullish breaker. Then we put in an H4 market structure break. This is the swing high that creates the H12 SFP right here. This is why this is an H4 bullish breaker. This swing high right here, I'll delete that and we can do it again. Let's walk with me here. Walk with me. Walk with me. This is the swing high that creates the H12 SFP. This is that taking place right here on H4. You close above that, you flipped a market structure break. This is your breaker. There's your bullish H4 breaker. Look at exactly where it landed and buyers stepped in. I don't know if it's going to hold. It's not about predicting. It's just probabilities. There's your bullish H4 breaker after the H12 SFP into the weekly bullish breaker. It's a fucking mouthful, I know, but this is the layered. This is your layers. It's like a fucking onion. It's like an onion. You got to start using your brain that way. It's like a fucking onion. Sorry, I'm swearing a lot. Again, we're gonna blame it all on the brain fog. At least my shit's on point though. So there's that. What we can do, we can go down another layer. So let's see what's taking place on hourly. This is irrelevant. You can see that it's coming to there. You know what I would like, and you know what you should like if you want a long on hype? Do a little bit of choppity chop down here. Give you an H1 SFP into this H4 breaker. That's your signal on signal. You're getting to the core of the onion there. You're getting into that tangy, milky goodness in the middle. That was graphic. Apologies. Give a little bit of chop down here. Maybe it comes down a little bit deeper. Give me an H1 SFP into this H4 breaker. There's your long, right? One more time for the people in the back. If you didn't quite follow along with me, we can run this down. We'll go top down. Weekly. Bullish weekly breaker. This was a weekly SFP followed by a market structure break when it closed above there, right? Same as a support. Resistance flip, it was resistance, flipped it, it's now support, right? That's how you can think about breakers in a similar way, or supply and demand, right? It's just different ways of saying similar things. Order blocks, supply and demand, support, resistance, breakers. These are all just similar strategies using different words. They have subtle nuances and people trade them differently. And you get your diehard camps, you get your ICT only people that view things one way. You get your Sam Seiden. I don't know if y'all know about Sam Seiden, but he's all about the supply and demand. Shout out to Trader XO years ago putting me on to Sam Seiden. Years ago. I'm talking about like 4 years ago. Shout out Trader XO. Okay, well there's your bullish weekly breaker after the weekly SFP. This is how deep down the onion layers were going to the core. You had your weekly SFP. Also happens to be a monthly SFP. Right? Bullish monthly SFP. When I say shit's fractals, right? So when we're looking at our lower time frame, like say an H4 SFP with an M15 or an M5 breaker, this is the same shit. You got a monthly SFP with a weekly bullish breaker. You see how it's just fractals? Well, there we are under the weekly bullish breaker. So there's step 2. Step 1 is the SFP. Step 2 is the breaker. Then step 3, H12 SFP into that breaker. If you didn't play this live, well, right now the trade is we've got an H4 breaker off of that H12 SFP. That's where we are here. Well, we're now on H1. Give a little bit of chop. Maybe come down into this a little bit more. I mean, this may be it. And you can just put a bid from there, put your stop below here. And there's a setup. I would just thump, take out that, or maybe take out that an H1 SFP inside of this breaker. Then you have a really high probability trade. We can go down further into the rabbit hole. M15, there's nothing to see here. M5, there's nothing to see here. In terms of, there hasn't even been a low time frame SFP in here. I love SFPs. I'm the SFP guy. Why do I love SFPs? Because they give you a level to frame your trade around. Really quickly when you're invalidated. Otherwise, anywhere else on the chart, for me, the way that I trade is just knife catching. Other people do it successfully without waiting for those sort of triggers, but that's just how I view a chart. So there you have it. That's hype. Layered like an onion, a juicy onion. From monthly, apologies. We went from monthly down to hourly and below. And there's just no setup there yet. This is a setup in itself. This H4 breaker, right? Bullish H4 breaker after the H12 SFP, stop below there, enter off the edge of the breaker while you're a little bit away from it. And, patience or time has taught me that being a little bit extra patient generally is going to give you that trigger. But if you're feeling impatient, or if you can't monitor the market as close or as hands-on, and you need a more low-touch trading strategy, that's your setup right there. Now, keep in mind this weekly here. This could still take weeks, right? Like, this could still chop around here a bit more and come down back into this breaker even deeper and give it, this isn't a trade. This is just a suggestion. This in itself, if you're super high time frame and have zero patience or zero time to be focused on the market, just behind the edge of that breaker, stop below here is a trade. And you'd be targeting up into here. But this, given it's weekly, let's move this over a little bit so it's not blinding us. You can actually see that it came down into that breaker. Right? This could still take weeks to play out before it finds that, right? Like weeks before. Well, this could be weeks before, but the setup that I see right now, that's all this is, right? It's like, what is a trade in front of you at the moment? Oh, look at that. We're coming back into it. So, that's why I say patience. But this is a decent spot for hype. Okay. Well, this has been Lunch Levels. With Rapture, Scalp, and Swing sessions number 13. We took a look at BTC, ETH, Sol, and Hype. We laid out all of the plans forward for the days, possibly weeks ahead, possibly even for today. We'll pop in and take a look at BTC one more time before we sign off here. Remember, the brain fog is real. If you're just not feeling it, sometimes it's just a good opportunity to take a day off. But I wanted to do this stream so that we could update our levels, so I could show you guys that even in these, what many call shitty market conditions, there are trades to be had. And I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not fucking leaving. Bull market, bear market, crab market, sideways market. I was born in a range. It's where I first got my trading chops and where I learned early in my trading journey was range trading. So I love this type of environment. Chart requests. Well, we didn't really get to any chart requests. Okay, what was that that just popped up? Oh, that was an M15 on BTC. So I can show you guys here. Let's move over to my proper layout. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. Oof. So we've already negated this. This is now invalidated. This is looking weak, guys. Be honest. I will be honest. Like, let's take... Really, from here, high time frame, what is there? It's down into here on BTC. What's popping up here? It's telling me M5 and M15 triggers or signals, but the high time frame signal isn't there. We're below the level. Right here. We'll look at it here. We're below the level. Let's see. Did ETH or SOL manage to hold the level? So ETH is still holding on. ETH is still holding on, but if BTC loses that, I would look up below. I don't think SOL is holding. No, SOL is below. Right? This is why I emphasize waiting for the setup, right? The signal was the high time frame level. The setup is the mid time frame. In this case, we were outlining some market structure shift style breakers, which don't even give you the market structure break, right? So it's even lower probability, and we hadn't even had those shifts yet. But we did on BTC, and then it lost. It's Thursday now. Tomorrow's Friday. Typically, shittiest volatility of the week. All right, let me pull this up real quick. It's just me, or has the Velo site been moving kind of slow lately? I do like Velo, but it's been loading kind of slow lately. I'll share it in a second. It's just loading in the background. Rather slowly. So we're below there. ETH is still holding it, but I wouldn't hold my breath. I would not hold my breath. And BTC, I mean, shit. There isn't even another H4 level down here. It could continue to do chop, and we put in internal range swing lows along the way. But in terms of high time frame, you know, BTC is heading here, in my view. I've been saying that since here, when we front ran that level. When we came down into here, I was like, come on, you're telling me we got within $1,000 and it didn't take out my level? Then I think we're coming back. Well, it's looking like Rap was right. Just because it didn't make sense that we didn't take that level out when we got so close to it. This is looking real droopy poopy. Really droopy poopy. It doesn't mean that this can't recapture, and then we have an intraday long to set up. But right now, it's annoying that I wasn't locked in this morning. There was a very clean short. Very clean. Very clean. Not so clean, right? That just tells you the weakness of Solana overall. Okay, lads. Well, once again, this has been Rapture, Scalp, and Swing Sessions number 13, live perps trading and analysis. Lunch levels. Maybe that'll become a new one if I can figure out why the fuck Twitter did not push the stream to my feed. But for the few of you that were here today, I do appreciate you all. We looked at BTC, ETH, SOL, and HYPE. We marked out our high time frame levels. We talked about some strategy. We talked about the brain fog and how that is real. And we're also going to say, once again, a special thank you to the good folks at BingX, bingx.com. Use code Rapture for sign-up bonuses. And on that, Rapture out. Ciao, lads.